You're listening to The Angry Designer, where we cut through the industry bull to help frustrated graphic designers survive and thrive.
So, I mean, coming off of that episode, so again, it was really fucking cool to have this energy, you're right? To have, oh, wait, here. Like,
yes, I was just going to say, this. Dude, don't make me wait.
Yeah, wait for a drink. So it was really cool. It was really cool to have him on the shows, and definitely as our first guest. But, like, I mean, you have to admit, I heard it. And, okay, so on one note, I wasn't as drunk as I thought it was, which is good. In my mind, I was like this babbling idiot, and I was just like sloppy. Oh, okay, maybe not quite that bad. So that's one good thing. But number two, I was not angry at all in that episode. No. Like I was genuinely like in La La Land with him. And it's just
I couldn't help it. We can't help but fanboy over this guy. He's awesome. He's absolutely incredible.
Right.
And he was angry enough for the both of us.
Okay, maybe. So he was. He makes up for everything that we were missing.
He
unfortunately,
literally hates people that hates the word literal or use
literally.
I can't say I blame him on that
Sean,
one.
I literally need this another drink.
You're literally, I totally understand literally what you mean.
But it is true. Like, I mean, and again, sometimes you get angry, sometimes you don't. And I think there's a lot of things that piss me off.
Yes.
But that episode, it was just like, I agreed with everything, but I think I was in awe because it was like, he wasn't real to me.
No.
Right? He was always the celebrity and this and that, like celebrity designers we always talk about.
Yeah.
So he wasn't real, but talking to him and going through that really humanized him, right?
Yes.
Really made him real.
Right. Changed
the whole fucking experience.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Which is why I wasn't angry at all.
Exactly. And the thing with that too also is like it's the human aspect that you were talking about. He was kind of contemplating whether he wanted to do this anymore. And you would think never has that ever entered our heads.
Well, no, it really hasn't, right?
Maybe he's done with.
I don't. You know what? I bet you all said and done. And of course, we're gonna follow up with the dude for sure, right?
For sure.
And I don't think he's done. But man, that guy's had number one, he's had a hard go like we have over the past 25 years.
Yep. Yes.
Right. Same time span. Right.
Yep.
And just like we're changing our journey, right, in the future, which we're going to let everybody know about in a couple of weeks. Like we're changing our journey. Yeah. I think that's all he needs. It's not the end of his show. It's just the beginning of a new show.
Yes.
Right. And that's it. Next season, you want to think of it, right? New cast, maybe, right?
Yeah.
But it's still going to be his show. Right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's 100%.
Totally. But yeah, it's just. I mean, he's just kind of, maybe the change will do good for him. Like maybe wanting to get out of Oregon, and maybe to move back to Michigan, his home state, close to his mom.
I mean, again, and then
that could be enough. You're right. That's probably the next chapter in his life.
Exactly.
I can't see him just kind of not doing design.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I would
Absolutely
hope.
not.
I hope to God that never happens.
And everybody does get stuck from time to time. Sometimes you need that push, right? And by no means is that dude burnt out because he's still coming up with some of the. I already saw that Jack White stuff that he was doing.
Did you?
Yep. Yeah, and it's very cool shit, right? Again, he's awesome on Instagram.
Yes.
But no, and again, so it's not like he's burnt out, and it's not like he's done with it. But again, it's just there comes a point where it's like you need to breathe something new, new life into something. You need to bring new life into your brand. And for him, that change is going to come, but often we go through like trying to find new ways to breathe life into the brand.
Totally.
Into all kinds of brands. And and I think that kind of in a weird sort of way ties into what we want to talk about tonight. because
nice.
Kind of, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of worked because he is a larger than life character.
Yeah.
Okay, but he is a character of himself, and until you actually meet the dude, right, it's hard to humanize him.
Big time.
Okay, but there are other ways to humanize brands.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And that's what we're here to talk about tonight, right? Is it's sometimes it's hard for brands to make connections with people.
Yes.
Sometimes it's hard for brands to, to talk about what they do, to explain their, what makes them so different, right? And I mean, we have pitched this in the past many times, right? And I know many people do. And so, this whole brand mascot can breathe entirely new life into a company, into a brand, into a marketing strategy. Right. And honestly, it's fun as fuck when we get to do it.
Totally.
When we're energized and jazzed up and we're like, no, let's go. We rally everybody up and everybody has okay, creating a logo is one thing.
Yes.
But when you have this opportunity to create a mascot for a brand, or a mascot for a company, it's a whole nother level. It's like
totally
almost
is.
like a child, right? Like it is. It's like you've got your two favorite children, right? Here's your logo, and that logo's now 2-3 years old, and it's just like, okay, I'm bored of you. Here's a new child.
Here's the new baby.
And this one, as soon as it's born, it can do backflips and give you high fives. You're old news now.
Whatever. You can only do so much there.
But it's true. Like, I mean, again, okay, so in simplest form, a mascot is basically a character, that acts as an ambassador of your brand.
Right.
Okay. It humanizes your brand. It kind of adds this whole new living, breathing element to your brand.
Yes.
Right. And honestly, it blows me away when I start looking at how many of these are out there, and we don't even second guess it anymore.
And how many have been around for 100 years? There's lots of them that have been around.
It's some of these mascots are worth more than the brand. People will recognize the mascot before, not the brand.
Exactly.
Which is unbelievable, right?
Crazy.
So, okay, so the difference, of course, between a logo and a mascot, right?
Right.
A logo is a visual identification of the brand. It's the visual identity portion of a brand, right? It's what people kind of, put their eyes on and channels everything from the brand through this one visual identity, and we all love them. This is like a big core and a big soft spot for almost every designer I know, right?
Totally.
A mascot is a living, breathing character that represents the brand. Okay. It adds life to a part of the brand. Okay. It provides this relatable feeling, that the brand wants to give out. And what it does, it expands the brand even more. Okay. So it doesn't replace the logo.
No.
And it isn't necessarily the logo.
Right.
Okay. It works with the logo as a visual representation, just like a logo. Okay. But it is so much more. It is so much more versatile. You can use it in so many more different ways. And honestly, it is even more powerful than a logo. Because how many people know, the Pillsbury logo? But how many people know the Pillsbury Doughboy, right? The Michelin Man, right?
The Michelin Man.
It's incredible the power of mascots. And you don't have to be this giant corporation. In fact, I think the bigger the company, the harder it is to bring in something like that.
I think you're right. Yes.
Right?
I would agree.
But I think they're crazy not to. Okay, when you start look at some of the history and the stats and everything about it. But, this can happen at any level for a company, any at all. So, they're honestly some of the mascots that exist out there, like the 100+ year ones, of course, they're more memorable than the brands that they actually represent. Okay. And they're just as essential, if not more, than the logo, and they're definitely more valuable than the logo.
Definitely more valuable.
Which is crazy. Because again, believe it or not, right? I mean, think of it. Certain brands, like even Coca-Cola, had a mascot for a while. The polar bear. Remember? And now that polar bear is their Christmas mascot. For years, they owned that thing. And you saw that thing everywhere. It was merchandised. It was at the, exhibition and like the COE or all these little fairs, local fairs. And everybody would want the Coca-Cola bear, right? Now it's a collector's item. Granted, all Coke paraphernalia is. So absolutely.
What are we talking? Like how many years ago is this?
Jeez, how was it well, I mean, again, you still see him creeping up here and there, right? The Christmas bear, just a few years ago.
I know he was in the Christmas, but I didn't realize he was part of the...
No, and that was it. Like, that was the mascot. It was their Christmas mascot, right? So, again, it's so much more. It expands the brand even more and does things for the brand that the logo can't. Right? Yeah. So that's why. So it's shocking how far and deep this goes.
It's absolutely incredible. Yeah, like our friend Mickey Mouse, 1932 or 28 or maybe something like that. And he's like, Disney has changed their logo, their word mark a couple of times. Now it's fantastic.
Beautiful.
We've raved about this and how versatile it is, but he is the iconic, the face.
Staple.
He's the guy behind Disney.
Right.
That everybody knows.
Right.
You see that? It's Walt Disney.
Right? Like Mickey Mouse has got like all this energy and attention all to his own, right? And again, because he embodies the life of the brand. And I think that's the idea. There's certain things that a mascot can do that a logo, can't, and that the brands struggle to do.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which we'll definitely talk about. But I mean, let's just get really basic here.
Yeah.
So logos or mascots come in three. See that? I switched it. I called it a logo. Damn that guy. But it's true. I know some brands have tried to incorporate it as part of their logo.
Yes.
But, like I think Android
has.
Okay,
Which is,
yeah.
they've done a great job. I think that.
they've done a good job.
Cool.
Yes. No. Yeah,
you just hate Android products.
Maybe.
I do too.
All right. Truth be told. I'm an Apple guy. Okay, well, we'll go on about that a little
talk,
bit later. Because, unfortunately, Android is there. Anyway.
We always have that debate with the kids back there.
Right?
They have their Android phones. It's like, what do you say?
Just go get your little toy at Walmart, Where did you buy that? Toy aisle beside the Barbie stuff?
The little toy there.
Phone. It's between Mattel and Hot Wheels.
My first Android. Speak and spell.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Oh.
Okay.
Sorry,
Three
Mac.
types of mascots. Sorry, Mac. 3 types of mascots, all right? So they come as a person. Mm-hmm. Okay, now there is different reasons why, these mascots exist and how they all kind of differ. Like it's not just random, right? Yes. So you have the person, okay? And using a human as a mascot in one way or another makes it, is the easiest way to make a brand feel familiar to people, okay? Yeah. It's literal, it's relatable to people, right?
And sometimes it's the story actually behind the people.
Exactly, right? So perfect example, right? Well, the Colonel Sanders.
The Colonel Sanders.
Right? The
Real
Colonel.
dude.
Absolutely. And he has been such an icon to that brand, right? Like
Yeah.
everybody knows the Colonel more than they even chicken itself, right? Because
Exactly.
chicken still sucks, but man, do I still respect the Colonel.
And, they changed their name to KFC from Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Exactly.
But he managed to pour it along with
He
the
is
new brand.
still
That's
the
right.
Colonel, right? So there you go. The mascot is almost bigger than the actual logo and the brand itself, right?
Totally.
But again,
totally agree.
you've also got Mr. Clean.
Mr. Clean.
Which is also another early, 19th century or 20th century logo, right?
Yep,
Mr.
yep.
Clean is like almost 100 years old, believe it or not.
Yep. You know what he was based on?
No.
You ever see The King and I?
Was he really based on that?
That's what they say.
Come on.
There's a picture of him, both of them side by side.
Well, I mean, the
there
timeline is close. The timeline is close, right?
It's very close. But again, there is some myth and some lore involved in some of these things.
Of course.
Possibly that could be.
But it is funny how, again, he humanized that brand.
Totally.
And the horrible part is, when they created him, it was appeal to women back in that. You want to talk about total sexist, right? Mr. Clean, and it was attractive, hunky, and helps women clean, which their husbands never did back then, right?
True.
So there was so much controversy over that dude, right? Even more recently, remember? I don't know if you remember, but there was this one a few years ago where they basically made him dancing around and cleaning, all sexy like, right? Seriously, and women were right? So that was a little disturbing, but you don't believe me? Go onto YouTube on that one. That was legit.
Mr. Clean dances for,
right.
for
Okay.
money.
But in all fairness, there's other ones. Okay, everybody knows Ronald McDonald.
Right.
Keebler Elves,
Keebler
right?
Elves, yes.
What about Wendy from Wendy's?
Wendy.
Okay, and
Awesome.
again, she's a brilliant example because she's actually very hot. You want to talk about somebody who's active on Twitter?
Yep.
Wendy's active
Wendy.
on Twitter,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Which the Monopoly guy.
Yes.
See, again, huge mascot.
Yeah.
Who the fuck would even think about it? Because they're just part of everyday brands that we just know and love, right?
Yep.
Heck, Super Mario.
Super Mario.
He is synonymous to Nintendo, even though they have
Right.
so many other brands. You think Nintendo, you go to Super
go to
Mario,
Super Mario,
and their
yeah.
whole lineup of everything, right?
Right.
And even more so, okay, one of the biggest coffee brands in the world,
Yes.
Starbucks, has not Tim Hortons. Come on.
No, I wasn't thinking that either.
Who are you thinking?
I was thinking Juan Valdez.
Oh, what?
Juan Valdez
You're right.
a real dude.
He's a real dude. You're right.
And it's kind of a different
No, you're right.
kind of style because he's more of a serious because he's a real dude and because it's like for the Colombian
Coffee trade. Yes.
so it's legit fair trade kind of stuff.
yeah.
So he looks
That's funny. I
Yeah,
never
yeah.
thought. I didn't even realize that. You're right. No, I'm talking about the Starbucks
yeah,
girl.
the Starbucks girl is great too.
And she's, because again, legit, right? So again, wow, we totally derailed there. But You know, example number 1, there's a human mascot.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So example number 2, okay, the second type of mascot is an animal, of course, right? And everybody knows the animals, but the reason why is sometimes, you know, they're able to represent, you know, something about the product, the natural feel, like if it's a dairy product or if it's like, you know, something that has to do with wood, right?
Right.
So sometimes it ties in that way. Other times, it's it ties. They signify the
archetypical.
That's it.
Archetypal.
I can't even say.
Archetype.
Yes, yeah. But you know what I'm trying to say, right?
I know, yeah.
It's like
Archetype.
the characteristics of the brand, almost
Yes.
the primal characteristics, right? Like tigers are assertive and they're confident, you know, where you know cats are cute and cuddly, you know. So you wouldn't want like a porcupine to be their mascot for a toilet paper line of products, right? That's why they have those fuzzy little cute, you know, soft little like what the kittens, right?
Yes,
The kitten.
yes,
Because I'd much rather wipe my butt with a kitten than a porcupine. So again, right?
Yes.
Animals, okay? And then last but not least, object, right? And the object is like, you know, it's something basically fictitious. It's fake, you know, it doesn't even exist. You can pick an object, you know, if it has something to do with your product or service that a person doesn't quite, you know, get, and the animal just seems too cartoony in one way, right? So you
Yes.
can kind of really own that. And this is where we go with stuff like the planner's peanut.
Oh, yes.
Okay, is, you know, would be an object because he's not a person, he's not an animal, he's kind of all on its own, right? They're fake. The Michelin Man.
Michelin Man.
Right,
Bunch of tires.
Bunch of tires,
Basically,
right?
yeah.
Pillsbury Doughboy,
Right.
the Kool-Aid guy,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. You know, M&M's, the Bic Man,
yes.
right? So these are all objects, right? The Bic Man, right?
shit.
I know, going back a little bit. doesn't it?
back in time here.
So, but it's true. Oh, I guess the Bic Man, Bic Man would still be a man, but not really because
Yeah,
it's not a person.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
fictitious object that
Yes.
has been, you know, like turned into a mascot,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So 3 types, right? So people, animal, and object, right? And they're legit. They all work different ways, and they're all different uses, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why do they work so well? Do you think? What do you think
Why
about
do they
that?
work? So I think, okay, first, my whole thing, you know, my whole reason, I'm going to start with this one instead of usually ending with it. Mine is what they think is because they're able to allow a brand to connect at a completely different level with a customer. And I'm not talking about, of course, humanizing, right? We always, you know, but it's like, when you want to hear about a product, you know, or you need something, right? Generally, you go online looking for people's reviews, or you ask somebody, right? Sean, do you know anything about this? Or I'm looking for this, or like, you know, what kind of winter tires do you use, right? So you go to a human to find this out, right?
Right.
And so I kind of think that, you know, that adds legitimacy to, you know, me telling you. I'm like, well, Sean, you know what? My experience is, you know, I like these tires. This is why. I trust them and blah, blah, blah. And so you're like, okay, good. So I think a mascot for companies does the same thing. It almost acts like a third person in the conversation, okay, to actually tell you, you know, about the brand.
Right.
If a brand was to talk about itself, if it was Amazon and in Amazon commercial, it was like talking to itself like, well, Amazon thinks that, or you know, I'd like to think, you know, Moss says this and Moss says that. It's just like, oh,
it doesn't work. Yeah,
that doesn't feel right, right? Yeah. But all of a sudden, when you have a mascot, you know, like talking about your product, talking about the brand, it doesn't feel the same kind of arrogant as the brand itself coming across, right? So it's almost like an easier sell.
Yes.
That's in my opinion why I think they work so well. It tells a story,
Yeah.
you know, that the brand struggles to do and might spend a lot. And it tells it, if done properly, in a way that people will accept.
Yes, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, so if I'm looking for tires and I come across this big puffy guy with, you know, looks like he's made out of tires.
Yeah.
He's disarming. Like
Exactly.
It's fun. It's kind of cute. It's like, okay, well, that's maybe I'm intrigued. Maybe I'll go buy Michelin tires.
Right.
Instead of just a
brand,
big
logo
brand.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Right?
Just, I don't know anything. That doesn't tell me anything about what they are.
It's not to say that they're the end all, but it is another avenue here.
Yes.
And honestly, the more I didn't, you know, the more we talk about this, the more I'm like, why doesn't everybody have one? Like, I mean, again, you think about the Geico Gecko. Okay.
Right.
In all fairness, okay, like he's very educational.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's not, you know, but it's like, I don't know any other brands of insurance off the top of my head except the shitty ass one that's screwing me every month for money, right? Like, but Geico is a brand I know only because of the mascot.
Because of the mascot.
Right?
Right. Good point.
And this is, and you know, you learn about it because of the mascot, and it's more believable because it's coming out of this fake character that absolutely in no way is possible. But you know,
it just doesn't work.
So you know, so I feel that's why they work well. Again, it tells a narrative that the brand can't do in the same almost believable way, even though it's a completely unbelievable character
Scenario.
or way. You know what I mean? Scenario.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes, exactly. I see what you're saying exactly. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Geico was a weird one though, because they had the caveman. And, you remember? It was
but
like
they still
so
had the
easy.
gecko come back even in some of those.
Oh, did
though,
they?
Right?
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. How about Affleck?
Affleck in the duck.
Well, that was just annoying.
That was just annoying, wasn't it?
Nobody liked that.
That didn't
one.
work.
But it probably wasn't the duck's fault. It was the voice actor that they got. What's his name? You know who I'm talking about.
Yes, I know
yeah.
exactly who
Oh,
you're
that
talking
guy
about.
is Sherman something.
Something like that. He was pretty
Yeah,
annoying.
he was annoying. So number one,
Yeah.
so that's why I feel they work.
Awesome.
Other reasons why
Makes sense.
they definitely work, right? They're huge money because they have this timeless nature to them, right? We talked about Ronald McDonald, the Michelin Man, right? Like they last and last. They don't age. They don't date themselves. They don't trend unless you create them in a trending, you know, look, feel, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like they have this timeless quality that just keeps them going on from decade to decade to decade,
Yeah.
right? And I mean, it never has to leave the brand, right?
Yeah.
And so because of that, it is huge money, right?
Yes.
Like because it absolutely works.
Yeah.
Wait.
And you know the funny thing with that too is like they've some of these older brands, they continue on, they have little storylines. Like, did you know the Pillsbury Doughboy had 2 kids? I didn't know that.
I didn't.
He's a father, but they've added to this kind of, you know, this narrative.
I'd like to see the Pillsbury Dough girl. Never mind.
Yeah, what's his wife
See what
look
she's
like?
look like, you know? Where'd these kids come from?
Ooh,
She must have had something in the oven. That was a really bad
There's
joke.
your
That was a
campaign.
bad
Yeah.
joke. Do you know what? Hey, my daughter's very first day of high school was this week.
Oh,
Okay.
that's
And so the night
awesome.
before I go and I'm like, you know,
Oh.
and I was just like, well, and I really wanted to go tell her, like, look,
Yeah.
if you want me to drive you to school, great.
I can
If
do
you
that.
don't worry about it. I'm cool. That was what I was really going to go. I sit down and she's like, yeah, Dad. You know, I'm like, oh, there's something I want to talk to you. She's like, is everything okay? And I'm like, yeah. But, you know, tomorrow's your first day of school, high school. And, you know, this is a really big step. So I want to talk to you about something called the birds and the bees.
Oh.
And I just said that, right? Her face dropped. It was just she's like,
Oh, the color.
no,
no.
Dad.
Yeah,
No, you don't have
please,
to. No, Dad.
please.
No. I couldn't even keep them. Oh my God, I couldn't do it.
Oh, geez.
Okay, sorry. Okay,
Oh,
but
wow.
the Pillsbury Doughboy, the brand. I'm sorry.
No, that's great.
Big money in mascots. Okay, so where I was going before
Yeah.
is this place, MPC. Okay, conducted a research on the effectiveness on advertising. You know, using mascots. Okay, and brands that use mascots in their campaigns observe nearly a 41% increase in fucking profits. So there is huge money in mascots. Okay.
Why are people doing this
Right.
more often?
I know, right? And the funny thing is, so it's just like as proof of this, okay? So here comes this Energizer versus Duracell.
Oh, this is
So
good.
this
Oh,
is what I was telling you about.
Yes.
So of course we know of the Energizer bunny.
Right.
It's that pink bunny. And the
Yep.
campaign was it keeps going
Yep.
and going. And it's the little bunny with the glasses. And it's
Yep.
just like, you know, blah, 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 blah.
He's a drummer like me.
Yeah, it's a drummer like you, Sean. And he's a pink bunny.
He's a pink bunny,
So
yes.
never thought anything of it. My life, I grew up knowing the Energizer bunny.
Yep.
Turns out, 1973, Duracell created their pink bunny. They created it first. So there is a Duracell version of a pink bunny out there, okay, that's legitimate, that came way before the fucking Energizer bunny. What happened? Energizer went and trademarked theirs first. They were smart. They saw value in this and they trademarked it. But like 13 years later, after Duracell's was ever, or maybe it was like 23 years later, and this has been a court thing going on ever since, if you can believe it.
Wow.
So believe it or not, and I mean, I'm not lying, because right now in Europe, okay, Duracell owns the trademark rights of using their bunny in Europe, apparently. So apparently there is a pink bunny that Duracell has in Europe, but here in North America, they can't have it because Energizer bought the trademark or the trade rights for all of North America.
For North America.
So this is huge money. And we're talking, this isn't like they've been battling this for 2 years and it's, $1 million. Like this has been going on for almost 20 years now in the hundreds of millions of dollars. So there is big value in profits and return when it comes to this kind of stuff. Yeah. Crazy, right?
That is so bizarre.
Totally
bizarre.
bizarre.
It's funny because when I was researching this, I was like looking through, and I did see a Duracell battery with a bunny on it, and I didn't even give it a second.
You didn't think
thought.
anything of it. Yep.
I didn't even think to look because I just assumed that was Energizer.
Yeah, right? No, not at all, right?
That explains
Nuts,
it.
Right? Nuts.
Shit.
So, and then of course the other reason why they work so well, so they humanize an element of a brand so people can emotionally engage, okay, with the brand.
Right.
And again, so this is the other half of what I just told you, that same company, NBC, right? Yeah. They conducted this research on the effectiveness of advertising with mascots, okay? And the reason why these brands increased their profits of 41% was due to this emotional connection that it helped the brand make with their audience. Okay, so now this goes to a whole nother fucking level. Okay, so this is where we start going to science. Okay, science. Okay, ready? So from a neuroscience angle. Okay, the reason why mascots work is because of a concept called anthropomorphism. Okay, so there's a big one, right? So as humans, we're hardwired to assign emotions to animals, to objects, right? Alike, right? Like we kind of turn all these things into something that we connect with, we feel, right? We
call our cars, we name our cars and stuff like that.
Right.
Okay.
Right. You name your cars, you name your computer, some guys name their junk, right? But it's like we try to humanize things because as humans, right, we understand our human behavior. Yes, I just said that. And yes, it's true.
And all over the world, everybody's going, yep, I understand.
Yep. I know, right? But it's true. We understand the most about human behavior, right? Because people have their own experiences. They've had their own heartbreaks, their own frustrations. Yeah. So people feel that they know above anything else more human nature, right? Yeah. Based on their own experiences. So that's why, because they associate that, right? They try to push that out, or we just unknowingly, subconsciously push that out to objects, inanimate objects, animals. We try to put this whole lifelike quality to all these things, right? To inanimate objects alike. So, and it's funny because how brilliant it works. The IKEA commercial. There was an IKEA commercial about 20 years ago. Okay. Remember when they had that guy, that German, designer guy?
Yes. What are you talking about? It's just a lamp.
Yes. So there was the commercial.
Right.
And it was a rainy night.
Yes.
Somebody comes out of their house and you don't see the person. You just see their feet walking to the curb, and they put a lamp in the garbage, and it was just the lamp, and they go back inside, and then the music starts, the rain, and it's like slowly zooms in, and you start feeling bad for this fucking lamp. You genuinely, and you're just like, oh, why'd they do that? Look at this poor lamp. It looks so sad. And then they cut to him, and he's like, what? It's only a lamp. Why are you so stupid? It's true. It's because people were all of a sudden, putting these emotions to this inanimate object to kind of feel bad because they're sharing it, which was the most ridiculous thing because he was so right.
Really? Yes.
But it's truth. It completely plays into this, right? And again, we name our cars, our stuffies, our toys, right? Kids make their toys come to life, right?
Yeah.
So there was another study that even came to conclusion that, babies, and I'm talking babies, 2-3 month children, right? Like that young preferred faces than like bright colors and bright shapes and mobile objects, right? They reacted more to actual face. So we're just hardwired this way, right? Jesus. And which is why this shit works. A brand mascot plays into this 100%. It reflects this deeply human-rooted tendency that we have to understand the world through this anthropomorphic.
Yeah,
I
think that's right.
This thing, this whatever it is, object thing, right? Fuck it. Have a drink.
This is what happens when we get into science. We get into words that we just don't get every day.
That one's a hard one to say. That's a mouthful.
That's crazy. But it's the embodiment of a human aspect
Qualities,
onto
yes,
onto an
yes.
object. That's basically what it is.
Absolutely.
We can't say it, but we know what it is.
We know what it is, and that's why people relate and they
Yes,
connect.
that
to
totally
this,
makes
right?
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of crazy though,
Yeah,
but it's
exactly.
so like literally we're wired for this, and again, you can't fight it.
No.
So join it in my opinion,
if,
right?
if we're 2-3 months old and we're relating to a face,
Yes.
holy shit,
Crazy,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. This is human nature, right?
Yeah.
Whew, that's crazy stuff.
Pretty deep. Pretty deep.
Why don't some of these mascots work then? Like, what's the deal? Like, how come?
There's a lot.
What are your thoughts on the Android one? I know you don't like him. He's adorable.
So
what about the Reddit guy?
Yeah. Okay. The Reddit guy. The Android guy. Even the Twitter bird.
The Twitter
right?
bird.
So again, just because Linux has one, right? They've got the Penguin. MailChimp has
MailChimp,
one.
right,
Okay.
right.
So, but again, just because you create the mascot,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't mean it's automatically going to change your world,
Right.
right? It's not going to it's not going to overnight change your product. You have to remember, just like a logo, it becomes part of your brand. But it also has to, go further than that. It has to start talking about the brand, exampling the brand, right?
Right.
Being used. Twitter, the Twitter bird was cute when for a little while they were actually putting it in visuals and ads, and you'd see it in different ways in
Right.
other than just the flat logo version, right?
Right.
But they stopped that, right?
They did.
You have to push that mascot to start acting the personality of your brand, right? It has to go further than just show up in your ads in the corner that point forward.
Right.
Then it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, that is-
right.
yeah.
The mascot has to be a living representation of your brand. If you just wanted to sit there and just on a page and be static, that's what you got your logo
That's
for.
what it did. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. If you're going to go down this road, right? And this is why mascots can be so fun, right? Because you start, embodying all these new things that your logo can't do. You start putting, personality into it, messaging, how it talks, like Wendy's,
Yeah.
right? She works for the longest time. She was just on a sign. Big
Yeah.
fucking deal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And nobody really cared for her. But as in the past 20 years, they've been starting to actually try to put a face to her,
Yes.
a personality. And none have succeeded more
Yeah.
than how these past few years, Wendy has been responding to people's tweets.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And
Funny tweets, too.
hilarious.
Yeah, some
So
of them are
now
really good.
she has a personality. She is that young little teenage redhead that you'd expect, that little snarky, Gen, if you want to call her Gen Z or whatever it is,
Yes.
right? And she's got comebacks like hell.
Yeah, she's really good.
Now she's actually proudly represents that brand. But I
Yeah.
mean, before she was nothing more than just an image on the wall.
On the wall, that's right.
Right?
And even deeper than that, getting into social issues, because
Right.
we know about this ageism thing that
Yep.
we've got going here at one of our networks.
Yep, absolutely.
And for that day, Wendy turned her hair gray.
Right.
It was just
See, that's pretty
this
cool,
is really
right?
good. This is a great way to kind of piggyback
So
off.
she is now their voice,
Yes.
and they found their voice, and they needed it because for the longest time that brand was so stuffy and fucking boring, right?
Exactly.
So
you gotta
you
compete with Rod and Ronnie. I mean, this is what you got to do. Yeah.
But even I hate to say it, Ronald McDonald hasn't been doing much for the
has-
brand lately either.
He hasn't. I haven't seen much of him.
Exactly.
And they had a whole
Huge
bunch
in
of
the 90s.
Hamburglar,
and
the
stuff.
Grimace,
the whole family.
None of those guys.
So again, just because you have it, it has to embody the brand,
Right.
and has to stand up and be the ambassador for the brand. So number one, obviously, some mascots don't work for brands because they don't use them. But the second reason why some brands don't work is, what we've experienced, unfortunately, is the B2B versus B2C space, right? So we work in the B2B world, business to business work.
Business to business.
Mascots work incredibly well in the business to consumer space.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because it's proven that purchases are often made by emotion.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a Harvard professor that was stated that 95% of purchases are driven by emotion. Okay. Wow. So again, that's huge. Everything whether you're lining up and I need gum, and you grab it, and it's right there.
Yeah, it's right
whether
there.
you see, clothes, and you're like, wow, it makes me feel good, right?
I didn't come here for this, but-
Exactly. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So again, mascots are great because that's a great way to ramp up, that explaining about your brand, talking about it, right? It works really good. They appeal to this because it's able to speak and tell the brand story in a way that just like a flat brand necessarily can't
do.
Okay. So that's why in the B2C world, mascots work well. Okay. In the B2B world, unfortunately, purchases are often scrutinized. Okay, they're extensively. Okay, you've got RFPs. Then all of a sudden, it's like the bigger the product, then you've got to bring it in. You've got to test it. You've got to bring in your second level, your third level. Everybody is looking at this under a microscope. So I do find that mascots work better if it's an emotional purchase because they appeal to the emotional side of a person versus in the B2B world. And because we're in the B2B, I mean, we have pitched for some of our B2B customers some amazing mascots and brands in this, and like literally none of the tech guys have really jumped aboard. We do have the commercial floor cleaning robot.
That's true.
The robot
That's true.
is their mascot.
He is the actual,
and they are aboard, and it's just great because again, the way we speak about it on their website gives him life. It gives him a personality. It winks. You know what I mean? Like it's doing all this fun stuff. But again,
cool.
it's they're a little different. But because a mascot is very much an emotional connection between people and a brand. You know, when you have to scrutinize purchases, it doesn't work the same.
It doesn't work.
Yeah,
exactly. And that one, I mean, that's their actual product. This is what he does.
It's like a no-brainer.
Yeah, that just makes sense to humanize this guy.
Yeah. Honestly, though, it is fun when we get the opportunity. And even when it's like, customers like, we need, new ideas. We need something. Things have been stale. Things have been flatlining. Can you give us something, right?
Yes.
We're always, we're coming together. And people really get behind the idea of a mascot.
Yeah, totally.
Because, again, it's something new and exciting. And again, there's almost no downfall if you do it properly, because it could talk the story about your brand more than, in a more believable way than actually just posting that shit.
Exactly.
Nobody visits an About Us page, but if you have your mascot talk about the About Us, like across 5-6 different social posts, people will understand that brand like nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
So it does what others can't. So it does breathe life into brands, and it's just fun. It's just something new to try.
Yes, exactly. And it's funny that you mentioned the failure with Twitter not being able to do it properly, and McDonald's not using Ronald McDonald, but Wendy using social media brilliantly. We're just effectively promoting that brand.
Mascots can work online so well. They're
great
perfect
angle.
for the digital space. Even Geico, like the Geico ads, right? You don't think so, but I mean, there's a whole bunch of social posts, and he is literally there, like back facing, you, and he's writing on the wall, and it's like got a big sticky note that he's writing on.
Really?
And they have used it over and over, and they keep changing the message, but every time. So it's like they're using him,
that's
right?
Great. Yeah,
Again, it's got huge potential.
That's really good.
So if you're gonna, it's not hard, and I do recommend trying the pitch, right? So very simply, how to create the right mascot idea for your customer to pitch your customer, right? So again, number one, you want to choose the right purpose. And what I mean is, what is the purpose that you want a mascot for? Do you want the mascot to educate people, on something, topics, whatever? Do you want the mascot to emphasize what you do differently, and whether it's in a sarcastic nature or whatever, or do you want to energize them or charge up their emotions, or have that kind of, you have to first and foremost, figure out what is the purpose of this mascot. You're not just creating it because, again, it'll fail. If you're just like, we need a mascot to go beside
a spring.
Exactly. Big deal. And we had a local tech company do it, and I don't think they thought it through very much, because other than showing up at local events, it did nothing for them, right? No purpose. So have a clear purpose on why you want a mascot, Then number two, you have to consider the audience you want the mascot to appeal to.
This is huge.
Huge, right? Now, and again, Geico, kids will like it, sure, but they're not purchasing it, right? Which is why that Geico character, it appeals, and kids think it's cute, but he's got that English accent.
Makes him sound smart.
Right. And that accent was key, because that accent all of a sudden made him someone, and I mean, he is, teaching us about insurance. He talks about insurance. Okay, he also shows up in funny, thereafter, and there's some ads. But again, when you look at some of these, they're informational, right? And again, it's because it's the right audience. So you might think just a talking gecko might be kid-oriented, but that English accent made a huge fucking difference, right? So again, you have to think of the audience. Is it for children? Is it sport heads? Is it for women, right? And then again, you have to consider the character for, the character, its personality traits, how it talks, everything about it, right? Okay, number two.
No porcupines for toilet paper.
No porcupines for toilet paper. No chicken for vegan restaurants, okay? And then, of course, you got number three, you have to choose the right character based on the purpose and the audience. And this goes, if it's a human, right? Or if it's an animal, or if it's an object, right? So again, make sure, once you've got the audience right and you've got the purpose right, then you choose the right character based on that.
That's right.
Right?
WWF with a human just doesn't work.
No,
right?
Right.
You got to have the panda.
You need, right, exactly, right? Like, I don't think it would matter. Imagine if WWF had Susan Sarandon yet again. Oh, here she is. Her face could almost be. No. Right characters makes the difference. Okay? All right.
Absolutely.
And then last but not least, okay, so you've got the right purpose that you're doing.
Yep.
Then you've got the right audience in mind. You've chosen the right character, okay, that's going to deliver this, purpose that's going to cater to the purpose in the audience. Last but not least, you have to plan the right content or marketing strategy.
This is great. Yes.
Right? You can't just, and like I said, a lot of these other guys, like the Linux guy and Firefox, just creating it. It's not going to work. This whole build it and they will come idea, unfortunately, that worked in Field of Dreams. And that was a good movie 30 years ago. But shit has changed, yo. Like, seriously. I'm tired of that. And this is an old way of thinking. You've got to figure out how you're going to use it. So, again, we pitched it for, one of our ISPs. One of our internet service provider companies, right?
Yeah.
And, we pitched them a character. Then we showed it to them how it would interact in social ads, okay? How it would interact in radio. Then we had a full life-size character made, right, for events. Nice. And last but not least, little stuffies. They would hand out of their character to kids at those events.
Gold.
It's huge. It's just, you have to plan that whole strategy. It doesn't have to happen all at once. Yeah. But the idea here is that it's a long rollout strategy, and it's got to live and breathe your brand. It's got to deliver that shit out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's why these other ones. I'm sorry. Hey, I'm not saying that Firefox is a small company. $1 billion brand. I'm sure Linux is God knows how big. Even Mailchimp, right?
Mailchimp,
right? But again,
it's baked into the name.
Yes, I know, but they didn't use it properly, right? And again, Mailchimp could have had so much fun with that one, dude.
Yes, you could have. Everybody loves a monkey,
right? And then again, monkey delivering mail. For fuck's sakes. That shit doesn't happen. I want a monkey to deliver my mail.
Yes, right?
So they dropped the ball on that one.
Call us MailChimp. We'll help.
Yeah, right. We'll breathe some strategy into your content, okay? So again, 4 ways. Choose the purpose, choose the audience, choose the right character, and last but not least, the content strategy. You just play with those 4. Okay, next time you have a customer that's like, I need a different idea on how to, increase sales, boost this. I don't care if it probably works better on a small, more community-based,
I would think so,
right? Because again, you have something that you can have fun locally.
And this is the thing too, is we're all worldwide now.
Yes.
With the web.
Absolutely,
and with Twitter and all kinds of stuff, you could have so much fun.
Dude, you absolutely could.
Yes.
And again, it can keep going from,
it could be huge.
On a digital space. Social is perfect for mascots.
Exactly.
E-newsletter is perfect.
Yes.
Your website and how-to sections peppered throughout. Like, I mean, there's so many cool opportunities.
There's a lot
for
of opportunities.
Mascot.
Yeah, it's ripe for a comeback, I think.
It is.
Mascot.
I mean, you want to say for a comeback, but everywhere you look, it's everywhere. Some of the biggest brands.
Yes, you're right.
These mascots are just part of our everyday lives that we don't even second guess.
Mr. Pringle, he's always been there. He's been there for years.
He's been there for us for years.
Peanut.
Right? Mr. Peanut.
Yes.
But
that's crazy. That's absolutely right. This should be something that everybody should consider nowadays.
Or at least try to pitch.
Or at least try.
Do something for fun.
Like you
get bored.
Yeah. We pitched this thing.
Yes.
Did it work?
Oh, well, it's worked for some of our customers for sure.
It has.
Absolutely.
Good.
We had other customers who because again, the B2B, they just don't want to try it.
It doesn't work. Yeah,
again, some of them have animals in their fucking name.
Yes. Yeah.
And they're scared to do this. It's like, dude,
I know
your name is after.
Yeah.
No, there's 2 or 3. It's like your name is after a bird, okay? There's no secret. Right. So let's use it. No.
Yeah. I was thinking the octopus too. Like that's such a good one as well.
Apparently octopuses were frowned upon in some of the countries they did business with. And I'm like, because now I look into that shit and it's because they eat that shit. So why would they be frowned upon? That's fantastic.
That's good. Yes, exactly.
Oh, dude, it was
we all
sad.
love chickens and cows.
Right. All right. Well, that was different.
That was enlightening.
That was a little bit of not a very angry episode, except, when I kind of get fueled about these idiots not using it properly.
Yes. And Mr. Android.
Let's not even go on about Android. He's gonna head over to Walmart right now to the Barbie aisle.
Your new toy phone,
new
your
toy
your
phone.
toy Galaxy.
Hey, interesting fact: iPhone has now outsold Android in America.
Holy shit!
For the #1 phone right now. If you can believe, there's
Wow.
more iPhones than there are Android.
No way.
I just read that this morning.
Interesting.
Nuts.
Holy, that's crazy.
You know why?
Why?
Oh, because everybody loves an Apple, but nobody knows what the hell this Android bot is. Come on. I'm just kidding. It's because he's so cold, that robot.
Yeah. Can you imagine if Apple came out with a mascot?
Yeah,
What would that
no.
would be? Yeah,
That would be weird,
Isaac
right?
Newton, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Fun fact: Apple didn't fall on Isaac Newton's head.
It didn't.
Nope, it's all it apparently
all-
fell beside him, but it was just in order to elaborate the story. It was like it knocked him in the head. He was like, bloop. Like, no, I know, right?
My mind is blown.
All these new fun facts. Tonight,
Holy
right?
shit!
I'm just full of it.
It just literally just fell beside him.
Yeah, it didn't even hit him in the head. So,
But he still.
but it was that,
enough
that-
to-
it was enough to trigger that whole idea. Yeah, the law of gravity. So,
gravity.
yeah. So.
Oh, dude.
I know I better stop now before all of you are just gonna have to pull over and shake your heads. You're like, wow, I'm learning so
many
much tonight.
accidents all over.
Science.
Science. What are these guys doing? They're nerds.
Oh my god. I'm the furthest person from a science.
Yeah,
Just, I envy those
Me
people,
too.
but man.
those guys are hella smart. I'm not.
Yeah, right. We are in our own way.
Yes,
Sean.
design smart,
Design
but not
smart.
not brain smart.
Science dance. Science dance. For anybody who knows what that is,
What
hit
is
me
that?
up.
I
Hit
don't
me.
know.
I can't tell you.
Oh no!
If anybody knows what that is,
Oh, I'll have
tell
to
me.
find out later.
All right.
That's funny.
All right, I think that's it.
Good one. This is really good.
Okay, honestly,
Yeah.
I encourage everybody to try this shit because I think it will. At the
worth a
very
shot.
least, you know what? At the very least, if you have a customer asking you for a new idea, you pitch them this with this backed up material. You know why it works, why it can work for your brand. At the very least, even if they say no, they're going to be. You know what though? You'll get props.
Yep.
For thinking outside the
at
box.
least trying.
For thinking because they're gonna come, they're expecting something normal, and you're like, listen, man, I'm gonna set your brand up in a whole new direction.
Yeah.
Right.
And that 41%,
Dude,
you know,
that's legit.
that's
right?
that's a big number. You know, it's not 10.
Oh, I know.
This is a lot.
40%.
Yeah, if you can
right?
get that many more eyeballs on
Yeah.
shit, come on.
Jeez. All right, everybody.
Yes.
Well, with that being said,
Yes.
please, by all means, share us with everybody you love or hate. Okay, this episode is a tame one, so it's not so bad.
Yeah.
Hit us
We're
up on
still
our
mad.
Instagram.
We're still mad.
We're still
angry.
mad.
We're still angry, but you know.
Just not tonight. Tonight's a chill night. Tonight was when we came off of this Aaron Draplin episode.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're
and
high.
wait till you find it. Wait till you hear who we got coming next. But again, right now we're not sure how often a year we're gonna do these. You know,
Yeah.
because I want to make sure that they're people that are literally like kick you in the nuts type of
Only the
reaction.
best.
Like, oh my god!
Only
right?
the best.
But you know, I've had a lot of really cool people reach out and be like, you know,
Really?
but you know, I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, needless to say, hit us up on our Instagram, participate, drop us a line. We try to get back to everybody, and forgive us if you don't, you know, tap us a second time if not. You know, we're still working out our swag, but we did test some stuff over at Fan Expo, and
That's right.
you know, we did get some pretty decent reaction on what we were
There's
doing.
a lot of people staring at our bellies.
Yeah.
What the hell's an angry designer?
What is that? What is that? All this time I thought they were staring at my crotch. Damn. Yeah, and again, we're on YouTube.
Yes.
You know, so hit us up on there. But I think that's pretty much it, buddy.
Yeah, I think that was really
Oh,
good.
and leave us a review.
Oh,
Leave us a review.
Yes,
Damn it.
please.
Yeah, because I mean, those are always great, and those actually
say
help
nice
us get eyeballs
things.
across
Yeah,
the world. Right.
Exactly. Right.
All right.
All right.
All right, everybody. So leave this and go create a mascot for yourself or for your next customer.
Yes, show us some examples.
Share
you've
us some
used.
examples. Yeah,
Yeah,
actually, that'd be
if,
kinda cool.
if you've made it work, we'd like to know.
Yeah,
right?
right. Or
Yeah.
how you've made it work.
How you made it work.
Yeah. That'd be great to share.
That would be great.
All right. Cool.
Awesome.
All right, everybody. My name is Massimo.
Yeah, my name's John.
Stay creative.
And stay angry.
Peace.